In the southern quarter of Rome, a vast ruin stretches across the open ground. Towering walls rise like silent giants, their weathered surfaces scarred by centuries of wind and rain, yet still standing proud against the sky. When the afternoon sun slants, low shadows fill the broken arches, as if they conceal stories of a glory long departed. This is the Baths of Caracalla imperial palace carved from stone, a monument to Rome's luxury and power. Turn back the clock to the 3rd century, and the site would be unrecognizable. What is now a silent ruin was once alive with noise and movement, laughter, conversation, the splash of water. Together they created the hum of a small city contained within these walls. The baths were the creation of a ruthless emperor. Caracalla, a name forever associated with blood, seized power by murdering his brother and ordered massacres of his opponents. Yet even this brutal ruler understood that Roman citizens did not live on fear alone. To secure their loyalty, he needed to offer them comfort, spectacle, and a sense of belonging. And so he conceived a gift for the people, a bathhouse on a scale Rome had never seen before. For the Romans, bathing was far more than cleansing the body. It was a daily ritual of social life, a place to relax, exchange news, discuss politics, and conduct business. The bath was the beating heart of the city. Caracalla knew this well. What he built was not merely a collection of pools, but a stone proclamation of imperial greatness. The scale of the baths was breathtaking, covering more than 11 hectares, an area equal to over a dozen football fields. They rose like a city within a city, passing through monumental arches. Visitors entered a sequence of vast halls, the frigidarium, the great cold pool, bright with sunlight pouring through high windows; the tepidarium, a gentler, warm chamber where steam hung in the air, and friends lingered in conversation; and most magnificent of all, the caldarium, a circular hall crowned by a soaring dome, more than 30 meters across. Beneath its vault water boiled, and steam curled upward, as if one had stepped into a palace of vapor. But the baths were more than water, they were a microcosm of Roman life. On the palestra young men wrestled and raced, their bodies gleaming with sweat in the golden light. In the adjoining library scholars bent over scrolls, whispering in Latin and Greek. Along shaded colonnades elders strolled slowly, sharing memories of campaigns and politics. Merchants moved quietly among the crowd, selling oils, wine, and snacks. Here rigid social barriers dissolved slaves and citizens. Soldiers and senators might find themselves shoulder to shoulder in the same pool. Such grandeur demanded extraordinary engineering. Clear water was drawn from the distant Aqua Marcia aqueduct, flowing day and night into the baths. Beneath the floors an army of slaves tended roaring furnaces, feeding them with endless cartloads of wood. Their fires powered a hypocaust system, sending heat through hollow bricks and under raised floors to warm the rooms above. The result was ancient central heating on a monumental scale, a fusion of technology and luxury unmatched in the ancient world. For an ordinary Roman, the baths were the crown of daily life. He might spend the morning in the Forum listening to orators, the afternoon in the Colosseum watching gladiators, and as evening approached, make his way here with friends. After exercise in the palestra, he would sweat in the caldarium steam, then plunge into the icy waters of the frigidarium, his body jolted into vitality. He might sit later in the library with a scroll, or lounge in the portico in spirited debate. For him the baths were more than physical pleasure, they were the stage upon which Roman life unfolded. Yet no palace, however glorious, can resist the erosion of time. By the 5th century, the empire itself was faltering. Invasions severed the aqueducts, and without flowing water the baths could no longer function. The great furnaces went cold, the marble floors chilled, the crowds dispersed. Under the vast dome that once echoed with laughter and voices, silence spread like a shadow. Statues were stripped away to adorn churches. Marble was quarried to build new palaces. The mighty baths, once a titan of stone, became an abandoned shell. Centuries later, medieval Romans passed by. these ruins scarcely able to imagine the magnificence that had once filled them. To their eyes they were quarries of stone, convenient sources of building material. Yet the ruins themselves, mute and broken, spoke more eloquently than words. They reminded all who looked upon them that the grandeur of empires, no matter how mighty, must eventually crumble to dust. Today, visitors wandering through the Baths of Caracalla still feel that ancient force pressing upon them. Walls rise more than 30 meters high, arches soar above, and fragments of mosaic still glitter faintly on the ground. Even in ruin, the space breathes with memory. If one listens closely, it seems possible to hear water splashing, voices mingling, echoes of a vanished Rome drifting in the wind. The Baths of Caracalla were a palace in stone. They embodied an emperor's ambition and the empire's glory. But they also testify to the fragility of civilization. They remind us that architecture is never just the piling of stone upon stone, but the projection of a people's spirit. Though the Roman Empire has long since fallen, to stand among these ruins is still to feel the breath of that world. Vivid, noisy, extravagant, and destined, like all human achievements, to fade.